He meets the greatest in the world and even exerts some influence over them, but the author Marek Halter has not always moved in such privileged circles. He started life with nothing and suffered anti-Jewish persecution during the Second World War. He transformed his life through a mixture of ambition, talent and courage. Marek Halter has just published a new book, Do It, or Faites-le, and is our guest on iTalk.
Il est notre invité dans iTalk. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much for being with us on iTalk. France has adopted you and vice versa. So what exactly do you think of the French socio-economic situation?
Well, listen, there is a crisis, but it's not serious. It's a crisis of hope. It's still strange that these remarkable French people are the most pessimistic in the world today. They're even more pessimistic than the Israelis, who are still at war. So there's something wrong. That's why I wanted to shake them, tell them, do it, move it.
Let's move straight to our first question.
Hello, I'm Anna. I'm Spanish, and I have a question for you, Mr. Halter. You've just published a book called Do It. I was wondering if you think that people do enough.
So, from the great people you've rubbed shoulders with, who best understands the concept of do it?
Well, the person who's inspired me the most is Golda Meir. Maybe it's because she was a woman, a strong old lady. Perhaps she best understood that, at first, our lives depend on us. And maybe that's also why she somehow became a grandmother figure to me.
I
never knew my grandmother because she died at Auschwitz. And I was able to maintain this almost filial complicity with her. Yes, I think Golda Meir best understood the concept of do it.
What do you think of the current situation in Syria?
Syria is a good example of our ability to intervene or not to intervene. At first, it was simple. There was a revolt against an authoritarian system, so we helped the rebels. Since then, everything has changed. And I think we see these images every night. We get used to seeing them on television, and they seem almost normal. But they're not normal.
So how do you motivate people to act?
If millions of people clicked on the internet, on their computers, to say enough about Syria, and if we found out there are 1 billion people against Syria, our governments, our leaders, whatever they are, democratic or undemocratic, my friends in Russia or elsewhere, they would have to intervene to stop the massacre.
Serait obligé d'intervenir et d'arrêter les massacres.
Meanwhile, as public opinion does not carry this message, nobody acts.
We'll go to our next question, which comes from Belgium.
Hi, I'm Dimitri. I live in Belgium. My question, you've met many world leaders during your career. Which ones impressed you the most?
So we've touched upon that, but who's impressed you the most recently?
This is a trick question. Unfortunately, perhaps we don't have any great figures. We have strong characters. Putin is a strong character. I know that we can say anything to him, but it depends on how we say it. I speak with him.
So what do you say to each other face to face?
I say a lot of things to him, but Even public television, I told him, you can find images. Everyone was surprised, as you know. I founded 2 French universities with Andrei Sakharov. That was during Perestroika's infancy. One in Moscow and the other in St. Petersburg. This was to introduce the idea of democracy. So I told Putin that I have 25,000 students who are discontent with your rule and who are protesting against you. What would you say to them? He answered, and we can see that he's cunning. He said on live television, I should tell them that if they demonstrate, it's thanks to me.
But you must recognize that the current state of Russia causes great concern in the international community.
That's right. Democracy has not yet been installed in Russia, as we know. The question that arises, and I'm going to ask, as if it's just you and me here. Is democracy the best cure for all of humanity's ills?
Pour toutes les maladies qui traversent l'humanité. Il faut savoir.
The question is whether what we call for in Russia is best for Russia.
Est-ce qu'il y a de meilleur pour la Russie?
I'm not sure if what Putin offers is best for Russia either. I don't know.
Do you think you have influence over him? Because you're a defender of human rights. Are you concerned about the human rights issues in Russia?
This is an interim period. You know how long it's taken France to become the country it is? And it's not a perfect democracy yet. It's taken more than 2 centuries.
So you see positive changes in Russia?
I think things will happen in Russia faster than they did in France. Some of my students are already directors of newspapers and magazines. I think that in 4, 5 or 6 years, when today's students are in power, Russia will be unrecognizable.
And finally, reading your book, I got the impression that you're quite seduced by power. Am I right?
No, you're not. You know, I have the privilege of speaking with people who have power.
C'est un privilège de pouvoir parler aux gens qui ont le pouvoir. Est-ce qu'ils m'écoutent?
Do they listen to me?
Je n'en sais rien.
I don't know. But they know already that the person in front of them gives them information that they don't already have.
Quelqu'un qui vous apporte des informations qu'ils n'ont pas. Vous savez,
you know, it's the same with Putin, as I say in my book, Do It. I was speaking with Putin for Paris Match magazine, and during that interview, I opened the window. He asked, "What are you doing?" I told him, "I want to see what you see when you open the window." And he said, without getting up from his seat, "I know, I see a wall." And I said, "That's your problem." And he replied mischievously, "But you know, all politicians, when they open their window, they see a wall." It's fabulous what he said. Politicians of a certain level are cut off from reality because between them and reality there are helpers, advisors, mediators, the media. You don't know what the people think. But it's not bad that there are king's clowns who are telling the king, "You are naked," like in the Hans Christian Andersen story.
Dire au roi, "Tu es nu," comme dans les contes d'Andersen.
Marek Halter, merci.
Marek Halter, thank you very much for having been with us on iTalk. This is the last issue in the series, but all our programmes can be found on our website. I'm Isabel Kumar from the European Parliament in Brussels. Thanks for being with us and see you soon.
Et à bientôt.